evening, everybody. I hope we're all doing fine. So it's a privilege for me to actually, speak on this topic today. As we all know, gender-based violence is like a global problem. Like my first speaker said, it's like a global pandemic. But we found out that somehow it has become a very big problem, or a particular problem in Africa. So I will speak like basically for Sierra Leone. So we had our war from 1991 to 2002, and up to 2,500 women, according to statistics, girls were victims of gender-based violence. So to be specific, it was rape. So we found out that when there was the war, we have most of this, maybe we call them the military people, or we call them the rebels. They capture these young ladies, rape them, sleep with them forcefully. And it happened from like during the war and almost when the war was ending. And even after the war ended, it still continued. So we found out that, okay, this is not just a problem because of the war, but it's like a global problem. And I used to tell people that ladies are the victims and the guys are the perpetrators. So I normally speak to boys and tell them that, hey, just put yourself in a position like if you are standing here with your sister and a guy comes and take advantage of your sister, how would you feel? So you try to put them in a position wherein they try to feel the kind of pain that person will go through when they are doing it to their own, relative or sister. I think 2 weeks back, we had two cases. One was a girl of, I think, 15 years of age. The guy invited her over to his house and she went. So the guy told her, go and take your bath. She went to take her bath. And then she came inside. She was trying to put on her clothes and the guy tried to force himself on her. She struggled and struggled. We were fighting. The guy used his teeth to bite her hand, used his teeth to bite her at the back. So what happened? What did not happen? She just got the strength and suffocated the guy until the guy died. So now the case is in the court and they are asking, is it self-defense or is it a murder case? So, gender-based violence leads to a lot of things. It leads to a lot of things. Ladies are the victims. Sometimes we also, like what happened now, maybe she'll be put behind bars if they are not careful of how they, take the case to court and try to reason it well. Another girl of 14 years of age, which happened, I think, 2 days back, got pregnant for her father. Her dad has been, using her. Her dad has been, sleeping with her. She couldn't say anything because the dad will always threaten her. So we have these problems and it's on and on and on, going and going and going. Together as women, I know we can fight against this thing, me especially in Sierra Leone, especially in Africa, because they still have this same thinking of, most of our people or most of our grandparents still believe in this female mutilation. And it's another thing that they don't understand that traumatizes, a girl child. If you're not yet up to that age, when you sexually harass a lady, when you, maybe beat her up, it can't just be only rape, but maybe you beat her up or you touch her in some kind of way or in some kind of private places, all those are harassment. And we face that every day. It's not stopping. Like until the world ends, we're going to face this. But even if we cannot stop it, we can minimize it. And how do we minimize it? It starts from we, the victims, we as women. It has to start from we as women and girls. When girls are coming up, when they start seeing their pubic, areas start blossoming up, they feel like, okay, I'm now a big lady. I can go anywhere at any time. I can do this, I can do that. Oh yes, we're trying to protect you, but you too need to protect yourself. If we are trying to give you a right, you also need to have a responsibility. So at national level, like there are lots of legislative and policy framework that has been developed since the end of the conflict, which established in supportive and conducive environment for addressing these issues in Sierra Leone. So in Sierra Leone, like they are trying as much as possible to bring together policies, to bring together a lot of things just to end this gender-based violence. Now I think they're giving them 15 years. If you're found guilty as a guy, you go 15 years to prison. And I used to tell people that you allow them to go 15 years in prison, but you leave a scar in the life of that lady. You leave a scar in the life of her family. And that is going to go a very long way with her, even until her dying bed. I could remember, I think, was it 1 year ago, 2 years ago, there was a little girl named Khadija, 7 years of age. She was sexually harassed and she was, I think they strangled her to death. She died. She died. And up to now in our country, we don't even know how the case is going on. So there is a problem with how they handle these cases. There is a problem. And we as activists, we as women, we're not going to keep short until they do something about it, until we get the justice we need, until we get a safe space in our different environment. We shouldn't be feeling also scared anytime we want to go out. Anytime maybe I'm with my uncle, I start feeling scared. Anytime maybe I'm with my father, even I start being scared, or even my cousin or a relative or even a stranger, because we don't have a safe space. I tell a lot of people that I used to admire the Muslims a lot because they teach them how to cover their body. You understand? And a lot of people would say, oh, it doesn't come by that. Everybody's free to wear what you want to wear. Yes, I'm free to wear what I want to wear, but I cannot put on gym pants or pants and be walking on the street and you don't expect a guy to look at me or even feel lost. That is why it's called a private area. It is called a private area. So somehow for us to minimize all these things, we have a role to play as girls or women. We have a very big role to play. I mean, a little girl at the age of 10, 15, okay, 10, 11, 12, because they get matured now very quickly, 15, 20. What are you looking for in a guy's house after coming back from school? When you come back from school, go home. There's a lot for you to achieve at that tender age. Gender-based violence has really become a norm for the victims because somehow we are giving them the opportunity to do what they want to do. But if we start taking our stand, if we only start looking at, okay, fine, you don't touch me this type of way. You ask me before you touch me. You don't look at me that way. Do not touch my hand if I didn't ask you to touch my hand. Do not tap my butt if I didn't ask you to tap my butt. Don't touch my breast if I did not ask you to touch my breast. If you start being deliberate and intentional about how they treat you as a woman, then I believe somehow we'll be able to minimize all these things that are going on. And the second thing I would like to say is that we need to speak up. Do not be silent. Break the silent zone. We have been silent for too long. Oh yes, we are trying now, we're speaking up, but we need to speak up more. They need to hear us. As women, if we come together, I think our voices go a very long way if we come together. So this topic really is a very timely one. And I was so happy when Miss Mahid reached out to me and she said, okay, just say something on this topic. I said, it won't be too difficult. I'll just jot down some points. It won't be too difficult because this is what I see every day. Like it happens in our country. We have huge number, like, can you imagine you have maybe a 65-year-old man raping a 3-month-old baby, man. What has she got to do for you? What feelings is there? What has that little child done to you for you to sexually harass her or rape her? And I used to tell people that any man that raises his hands against a woman is not a human being, but a beast. Because out of a woman's womb, you were formed. You have a mother, maybe you have a sister, or maybe a grandmother. So how would you feel beating her up? Then you raise up your hand and feel like, okay, because I got married to this lady, now she's mine. I paid her bride price. I married her legally. I can beat her. I can say all sort of words on her. Even your words can be a form of gender-based violence. Let me tell you. You being insultive, you saying all manner of things to a lady, it really hurts because words go a very long way. And so for me, I'll just finally say, as women, let's don't keep short anymore. Let us break the silence and make sure that our kids and maybe any mentee you have a safe place to be, because the world itself is not safe. So we need to protect our own, we need to protect ourselves, and together we'll build a better future for ourselves and women. Thank you very much.